Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got one replay in the Su-152 Taran, the Tier 10 Russian premium tank destroyer. And it's another community replay, and this time it's been delivered by Vishaw. Now, we all know who Vishaw is, right? Or if you don't, you should, because he's an absolutely fantastic player. Obviously, he's another community contributor. Follow his YouTube down in the description if you haven't already, but like I say, most of you should be following him because he's another crazy player that just puts out these ridiculous games all the time. And you sit there scratching your head going, what? He did what now? Okay. And this is one of those games. You're going to see it now. You're going to see the end screen and go, what? Wait, is this Cold War? Is he playing the Object 120? No. As you see, he's playing World War II and he's playing the Taran. Yeah, it's going to be that high. The numbers are going to be that high. It's madness what Vishaw manages to achieve in this replay. Well, what do we run in the Taran anyway? In the Taran, I run myself, Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, and Muffled Shot. Silent Driving I run because, well, it's a tank destroyer, right? It doesn't have the best camo on the move. It has really good camo, but it doesn't have the best camo when it's moving. It gets all its camo when it's stationary. So just putting silent driving on makes sure that it's easier for you to get about and not get spotted. And if you get yourself into a situation where you get spotted, you can pull back, stay behind cover, and maybe get away without being spotted. Whereas if you didn't have silent driving, you probably would, right? Camouflage Expertise, because like I say, the tank's all about its camo, because it's dirty camo, and you want to make the most of that. Muffled Shot, because when you fire, making sure that your camouflage isn't as disturbed when you fire is great. That's exactly, like I said, this tank is all about its camo. Staying for unspotted as long as you can, and working them over with this gun is why I use it. And then Steady Aim and Run and Gun. Steady Aim to make the gun 10% more accurate. You're always taking that perk. Always, always, always. And Run and Gun, well, I do it because there's a lot of times where I'm going to be on the move and I'm going to be moving from position to position, and I might want to just take a shot while on the move trying to flee somewhere, or I might take a shot not long after stopping, that sort of thing, because I don't really have time to aim. Run and Gun helps with all that sort of stuff, and 10% more accurate on the move is always great. Although you could drop the Run and Gun out and put Snapshot on just to make it so it's more accurate when turning the turret, because obviously you might be stationary more often than not, and you can turn the turret and, you know, stay more accurate pretty much. In terms of equipment myself, I run Rammer, Camo Net, and Optics. Optics because, while I have great camo, I also don't want to get spotted and then outspotted. That is the main thing, right? So being outspotted is horrendous, and you always want to be able to spot your targets, because you don't have to rely on your team to spot for you. If you can spot for yourself and then use your great camo to great effect, it's going to be a great time. That's why we run the Camo Net as well, because camo is great on this tank. We want to make it even better. And then the Rammer, make your DPM even better. Fantastiche, right? Absolutely fantastiche. So, he's on Kaunas, and Vishaw has already racked up 3.7k damage, nearly. Like, this tank, when it gets target discretion, racks up damage so quickly. And right now, their team is pushing the A-line. So what Vishaw's going to do is take a position that's really good for tackling these guys right here. So he gets one shot into the T-62A, puts himself up to 4.7k damage, because the Taran, when it slaps, it really does slap. 950 alpha on this tank for a pretty quick reload is absolutely wonderful. And what he's doing now is going to keep pulling back up into this position and slapping these guys over all the time. So he gets another one into the T-62A. That E5 is really looking this way. And when Vishaw did this again, I was thinking that E5, especially after he knocks down the tree, right? That E5's got to fire at this position. He knows his ear somewhere. Never even fires. He slaps the shell straight through the cupola of that E5. He's got 303 pen. He's going to just demolish that guy. And Vishaw does run the ammo swapper on this tank, and you're going to see good use of that. The ammo swapper can be good for the HE round and switching it in, but yeah, I just prefer the way I've got it. And, you know, it's all down to personal preference at the end of the day. All down to personal preference. When Vishaw was in that position, I was quite surprised he didn't knock down the trees to make his camo better, because if he knocks down the trees then become an area that affects his camo. I was quite surprised he didn't do that, but hey ho, it still worked out. And to be fair, it was one of those cases of they can't spot him until he fires, so he waited until he was unspotted again, and he pop up and fire. And his reload is actually, it's one of those things, right? The reload is just long enough that you can fire, get spotted, pull back behind cover, and then by the time you've reloaded, you're unspotted again. So you just pull out, fire again. And you can see from this position that Vishaw has got right now, he is absolutely destroying them. He's got complete target discretion. Those in the encounter cap at the minute cannot get away from his gun, and he's just managing to keep the pain on. So right now, Vishaw uses the ammo swapper to great effect, loads HE, but unfortunately the gun doesn't. The gun just doesn't work. The shot goes nowhere near where he's aiming. Probably we didn't quite see it, and the HE round doesn't hit that Centurion. He probably would have killed the Centurion with HE, which is why he did it. He wouldn't have been able to pen it, but HEing it would have been a great way to get rid of the tank. There he gets rid of the E4, which is great. That's a big gun out, which is exactly what you always want to have. Now he's looking again at shots at these people over here. He loaded heat for the Valor there, but unfortunately the Valor pulled back, so he's like, he didn't use it. Then he reloads his AP round, a 303 pen. Bounces off a Barracuda. Like, excuse me? Yeah, okay. Now he's aiming at this Taran. And there we go. There goes the Taran. Another big gun out of this game. Because let me tell you, when you get a Taran firing at another Taran, it hurts. It hurts a lot, and you are pretty much gone very, very quickly. Because, well, you two-shot yourself near enough most of the time. That's just the dirty alpha that this tank's got. I still think it's nutty that they released this tank like they did. Like, it's got so much alpha, so much DPM, it's absolutely insane. And it's so bloody expensive as well, 22k gold. But it's just it's an absolutely nutty tank. So now Vishaw's using the good mobility of the tank to get up behind this 705A. He ends up hitting the 705A for only like 773. That was quite a low roll. That guy must be using advanced armor or armor angling or something like that to get reduction on the alpha they're coming in. Now he's on 1008 health. He's going to pull up behind him, hopefully get a shot into the back of his turret, and he does for 819. I'm pretty convinced now that that guy is using the armor angling, because those two rolls were quite low. And with that shot into the 705A, Vishaw has crested 10.5k damage, and his team are losing 7-4, now 6-4. And he's at 10.7k damage. And this is still full health, and there's still a lot to do. Yes, boys and girls, this is going to get even better. This is one of those games where you'd be like, oh yeah, I've had a really good game, and then the game would end, right? Not for Vishaw right now. He's up to 11.2k damage now, and there's still tanks left. Boy, oh boy, I'm pretty sure, I'm telling you, you're not watching the Object 120 in Cold War, you're definitely watching the Taran. He tries to look for a shot on the STB-1, but there's no shot on that guy, and he gets shut down. Now there's the two Waffle E100s over here. Two tanks you don't want to get caught out by, and he wants to go get rid of them. He instinctively loads the HE, and he's going after these guys. He wants them. Especially once that guy that was on 1400 health, he could get a big, juicy HE roll on this man. And imagine if he does, he'll be at 12k, or over 12k. Juicy times. Juicy, juicy times. So he's going to get up behind this house. He's going to sort of side-scrape, well, swivel round so that he pulls backwards out so he can get back into cover quicker. And he just catches that Waffle out. He just completely catches him off guard. Slaps the 1200 HE shell into the Waffle. We're up to 12.5k damage, and he's just hoping that this STRV behind him manages to shut down one of these Waffles. Otherwise, it's going to be a painful, painful time. But he thinks, you know what, I'm going to take the hit and I'm going to shut down this Waffle. That doesn't work. Risky business didn't pay off. Because as he pulled around the corner, the Waffle broke his turret, which meant that he actually drove past him. But now he's reloaded. The other Waffles fired at the STRV, which gave him time to just quickly pull out and derp the shot into him, finish off that Waffle, and now he can play Ring Around the Rosies with this one. He knows he's got the hit point, so he takes the chance with the Waffle 100 again. This time, he gets to finish off that Waffle 100. He's finished off both now. There's two heavy tanks left. He's still healthy. He's at nearly 13k damage. There's the IS-7 that he's just spotted out in the open. He ends up tracking him only. I'm quite surprised he didn't load heat there with his ammo swapper and just go straight through the upper plate of the IS-7, because he can do with the 400 odd pen that this gets with the heat rounds. And the STRV gets to shut down that IS-7. There's only one heavy tank left. We all know where it is because it's in the cap. Because he's against 2 tanks left. And he's given away his position. He's got 1 minute 41 to cap, which they're never going to do. They are never going to cap in this situation. They're too close to the cap, and he's just telegraphing where they are. Vishaw loads the heat so he can guarantee going through whatever the tank is. I'm not quite sure. Boosts himself with foods, which makes him actually slightly more accurate as well. Comes in, it's a T-32, he knows he can take the hit. Comes over, makes sure he's aimed, slaps the shell in. And yes, boys and girls, that was 13.3k damage. 13.3k damage at tier 10. That's insane, Vishaw, man. You're just mental. Mental guy. 8 kills, 13.3k damage, 277 assistance, 13.3. Devastator, the Radley Walters, the Ace Tanker, the High Caliber, Top Gun, Defender medal, all the medals. 2.2k base XP. It's only 2.2k base XP for 13k. That's insane. You're a nutter, Vishaw. That is an absolutely insane game. What a game that is. That's one of those once-in-a-lifetime games. Not very often you hit 13.3k damage in a tier 10. And yep, he was definitely in tier 10 in the World War II queue with the SU-152 Taran, an absolutely nutty tank. And he absolutely slapped their whole team up. My goodness me. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Go sub to Vishaw if you haven't watched his channel before, because he puts out replays like this all the time, because he's an absolute nutter. I'll see you next time.
A great success!